Hello, my name is Sibahle Mabaso. I am an assistant researcher at the Center for Teaching and Learning under the Transition, Development and Success Focus Area, TDS. And I'm also a master's candidate in gender studies here at the University of the Free State. And most importantly, I am until recently, an award-winning theatre maker. So I've had quite the interesting academic journey. I started in 2018 at Qwaqwa campus. I did my first year in education and I was majoring in biology and English. But I wasn't passionate about biology. I could feel that it's not something that I really wanted to devote myself to. I was honest with myself because I knew that in high school, even it wasn't one of my strongest suits. I was always much better at English, much better at drama, much better at or anything that had to do with the interpretive and the humanities, as what we call the humanities now. So I felt the sense of I really want to do something that's in line with working with people. I really want to do drama. You know, I could only locate it in the space of drama. I want to be a drama teacher at the end of the day. So whilst I was doing my first year in education on Qwaqwa campus, I then enrolled myself for drama and theatre here, and it was only available on the Bloemfontein campus. So I took the leap. So there wasn't a lot of support when it came to that, but I told myself, you know what, there's something in my heart that tells me that I need to do this, I need to push, and I will figure it out when I get there. And I think that kind of drove me as I went through my undergraduate degree, because it was a thing of I want to make sure that I come out at the top and I prove that this can be a sustainable career and that sometimes your passions can love you if you love them back. I was fortunate enough to be in a residence. I was fortunate enough to have funding, and when I was in res, I was interested in leadership. So I've never been someone that's out there and loud, but I really wanted to prove myself within the space. And then I ran for RC, and I was fortunate and blessed enough to get elected as RC. And then that year, I remember I wanted to use the skills that I'd acquired thus far. So I wanted to test what I'm learning, is it applicable within the outside space? So I then decided that as RC, I'm going to coach my own residents with another RC who was also studying music at the time. We were like, you know what? We are studying these things for a reason. So might as well try to test it out here. And we did. And then we won Stage Storm, which was amazing. It was an amazing affirmation that we are in the right place. So that's when my directing bug sort of bit me as well. Went through the year, finished second year, and then it was the end of the year, decided that I'm going to run for RC Prime. This time I'm going to run for RC Prime because at this point I'm immersed in student governance. I am passionate about, working with students. I'm passionate about assisting students as well. So it was moving from I want to be creative in this space to I want to help, I want to lead, and I want to grow as a leader. But I was lucky that throughout my honors, I specialized in theatre making and voice and speech. And voice and speech was my first, I would almost say my inauguration into working with students, because part of the course is lecturing and facilitating, even assessing and making sure that the first year students are ready for their exams and they know how to be on stage and present themselves and know how to use their voice. And that was I'd almost want to say where I switched on to say that even though I'm not teaching within the classroom like I had thought I was, there are ways in which I'm still teaching. So I made it my aim to try find those ways, and that's where my directing also came to the fore. A Broken Sarafina, an ongoing discourse, which was my first, now I'd almost say professional production. It was the same thing, same concept where I said, I've done theatre making, I've been doing theatre making for a couple of months, let me see how I can apply that, let me see how I can upskill students through what I know. because the whole thing of it was we want to use students from different faculties, not just drama students. So that was the first time I started tapping into the fact that I want to develop skills, I want to share my skills, I want to use storytelling, I want these students to be confident on stage, I want them to be confident in their voice as they are performing, and I want them to develop a love for storytelling and be patrons of the creative industry, which we eventually did achieve. All right, then I was also fortunate enough, my research project for my honors was on feminism. So I also got an opportunity to test that out and to lecture the final year students on an introduction to feminism. I had a lecturer that really believed in me, who said, you know what, come try this out. You are interested in feminism. My work started, speaking on themes of feminism. So come and try it out. And that was the first time I then lectured officially final year students at the drama department. And I'm happy to say that I'm now going to my third year of doing that. So I decided that I want to take a pause and not enroll for a master's in drama and theatre. I want to go into gender studies so that because the fields are interdisciplinary, so that they can merge. And gender is something that we encounter every single day in our lives. So I wanted to give myself an opportunity to discover that. So I really wanted to just merge drama and theatre, and I wanted my works to center particularly women. I wanted my works to center the marginalized. I wanted my works to center people of color. I wanted my art to be very deliberate. I wanted to be very deliberate in who I speak about. The Sunday World's Award, it came as a surprise. I'm not gonna lie, it came as a surprise. Most of what I achieve is always because someone else believed in me, and that's kind of what I'm also trying to do with the little that I have right now, or the little cementing of myself in spaces that I'm trying to do right now. So a lovely theatre practitioner and alumni from the University of the Free State, Miss Jane Mpolo. She was the one that saw me as being fit to even be nominated for this award. And I'd only up until that point produced my first work, which was Where Does the Sun Wait Before It Rises, which looks at how society responds to the LGBTQIA+ community within the South African cultural kinesphere. So I was fortunate enough to get funding for that show, and it was after that show that I got this award. So she was very kind enough as to nominate me for that, and we barely knew each other. When I got that nomination, I felt like an artist for the first time. Yeah, I felt that being recognized nationally, and we'd almost argue that internationally as well. I felt like I was an artist for the first time, a theatre maker, as if I have a voice, I have something of significance to say. If I look at my recent work, Khanya and Her Golden Dream, if a work is centered on community and bringing people together and employing the youth and telling diverse stories and bringing in communities to come witness the work, people that wouldn't otherwise access the work, and I get recognized for that thing, it's an affirmation for me to dig deeper and bring even more people into the creative process. Across the board, it's funding. It's knowing if you're doing the right thing. It's where do I ask for help? It's who do I collaborate with? It's starting the thing sometimes. But it's always around funding and putting food on the table, and the exhaustion that goes from trying to get work from yourself, the exhaustion that comes with trying to move from gig to gig. The people that do this for a living and don't have any other job or enterprise are really the bravest people. I think firstly the birth of Secure the Grad has to be one of, and you can quote me on this, one of the greatest initiatives that the university has come up with. because of the access to spaces that it allows students to be in. You know, we talk about being mentioned in rooms that you did not even know that you could exist in, and Secure the Grad allows you an opportunity to bridge that by networking, by seeing people who are where you want to be, and you can see that it's possible, who have stories that relate to you, people who are just human like you are, who are hopeful as you are, who are doubtful as you are, but they've made it there. And I think when I was in undergrad, we didn't have that, you know. We didn't have that at all. If I look back, and having that be a thing that's in existence now, and how students relate to it and how it's youthful as well, makes it all the while better. I would say Women's Month is bittersweet in the context of South Africa because of the gender-based violence that is happening in the country, and it's important for me to note it without first glorifying the month. You know, it is a month of celebration, but it is a bittersweet time as well because of that. But the other end of it, and the other part of the leaf, is that it has an opportunity to bring to the fore women who have really inspired, women that have broken the glass ceiling, women, for example, in my field of work in theater, who have crossed boundaries, women that have emancipated others through stories, women that have really just changed the game. And in the world of academia, which we know to be very tight-knit, Women's Month allows for us to distinguish or to pull out and shed light on the women who, despite all of those gates and all of those all of the red tape, who are transcending beyond those circumstances. I think more than anything, it's a celebration of resilience, and I hope that it gets to a point where it's an invitation also for us, and as a society, and policymakers and lawmakers and the people who are actually supposed to be making these decisions, an awareness for us to open up spaces more for women to navigate these spaces and to thrive within these spaces, but most importantly for women to be safe and protected, because we cannot thrive, we cannot be successful if we are not safe. And parting words for any woman that are watching this, and this woman is a very broad concept for me, so whoever identifies as a woman, or anyone that has a sister, a mother, and wants to inspire them, it is possible. It is very, very possible if you put your mind to something, and I know it's very cliche, but if you put your mind to something, it is possible. Do not be afraid to knock on doors. I get more no's than I do yeses, but my yeses are good. My yeses are huge, but my no's are enough to get me down, but they don't. Knock on doors, and by knocking on doors, I mean literally send someone an email saying, my name is Sibahle Mabaso and I'm interested in A, B, C, D, and E. This is what I have to offer. Can I please connect with you? Do not be afraid to put down your pride to get into certain spaces, especially if you know that you have a dream and you have a vision. We want women to thrive, be healthy, so look after yourself. You come first.